Welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Melody, and today we have reports on nearly 20 billion jets in total awarded on 17th state lottery occasion. MCEF to help construction workers returning from overseas with seeking job opportunities. More than 10,000 Myanmar seamen await relaxation of visa restriction to return home. Football in Myanmar suffers amid COVID-19. Now let's take a look at what's happening in local news. State Councillor Do Aung San Suu Kyi conveyed message to the people on her Facebook post on Wednesday, saying that the aim will be different among each other in regard with spending stay-at-home time. For her, if she has time, she read books. She urged people to do reading if they have time. She added that reading will include the letters that have to be read as responsibility, letters from works, school lessons, and the books that should be learned and want to read. The mind can fly in the open sky by breaking through the restricted walls with the unknown periods and regions, and the new ideas that have never been thought. During a period when staying with obstructions of COVID, is it good if you can look at the new world while staying at home? She also said that like other COVID relaxations, she will reduce her Facebook programs for 3 times a week, and she will post on the dates when the COVID video conferencing is not held. Well-wishers continue to make mass donation for COVID-19 prevention. On Wednesday at a Myoda Hlodo building in Naypyidaw, a Myoda Hlodo speaker, Melwin Kaintan, accepted mass donation from Jinan International Company Limited and presented certificate of honor to the donor. These donated 30,000 masks are destined for the staff of a Myoda Hlodo office. According to MNA, with the Department of Civil Aviation extending the suspension of all international flights until the 31st of July, Myanmar National Airlines cannot fly until the 1st of August. MNA is one of the airlines preparing to fly to Singapore, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Hong Kong. According to the MNA at present, those who have bought the MNA air tickets can demand a refund from the airline. MAI stated Myanmar Airways International has announced that their international flights to Bangkok and Singapore are also suspended till the 31st of July. According to MAI, however, the Guangzhou and Seoul flights will be operated as relief flights when they get permission. According to the Yangon International Airport, although the Department of Civil Aviation has restricted the operation of international flights until the 31st of July, the domestic flights are permitted to be operational inside the country. That's all with the local news. Now let's take a look at the reports for today. There are 19,145 million jets in total awarded by the State Lottery Directorate of Internal Revenue's Department. The total revenue from selling the 17th state lottery tickets was just over 30 billion, and these revenues were returned to customers in prizes 60% of total revenue. The lottery ticket market is likely to be retrieving its original demand within a few months amid COVID-19.
The 17th state lottery occasion was held in Internal Revenue Department on July 1st, and there are 19,145.412 million jets in total were awarded by the government. It also included 250 million jets, which is the award money, but the winners didn't come to receive from the last occasions. The total revenue from selling the 17 state lottery tickets was just over 30 billion jets, and this revenue amount was returned to customers in prizes as 60% of total revenue. There were 3,199,022 ticket books with 35,099,922 lottery tickets were mass-produced. despite the numbers of tickets were reduced as one alphabet was left to produce. The maximum price for Myanmar State Lottery is 1.5 billion kyats and the minimum price is 50,000 kyats. The customer who lives in Monywa Township, Zagai region, won the jackpot prize of the 17th State Lottery by Angsu Tupai Lottery Ticket Shop, one of the most well-known ticket distributor brands in Myanmar. Uaung Tongkai is a ticket agent come an owner of lottery ticket retail shop, and he said the conditions of current Myanmar lottery market and some economic impacts that face the stakeholders from lottery sector.
The supply rate is gradually increasing compared to the COVID-19 outbreak. There has no leftover lottery tickets starting from June, and for July, almost all tickets are sold out. People do the lottery that has excess money to afford, but in this period, people are relying on the lottery tickets as their lives are going hard because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Almost all the retailers get losses, and so do I. Lost for about 1,000 lakhs in 3 months. We will need more time for the stability of the situations. If the demand is high, we can recover our losses. I bought 100,000 set of 11 ticket books this month. The ticket prices in rural areas can be a little high because of the transportation costs.
Mahalaban Lottery Ticket Shop has just won the 50 million, which is one of the grand prizes. Myanmar's lottery, known as Angbale, is also a big business, raising tens of millions of dollars in state revenue a year and supporting a wide network of wholesalers, distributors, and retailers and the end customers. The State Lottery Directorate, the official authority department, sells tickets to distributors at 900 kyats per ticket as official wholesale price. The particular states and regions were in semi-lockdown, so the ticket distribution to states and regions was inconvenient, but many of distributors, wholesalers, and retailers have faced many losses. The State Lottery Department reduced the number of tickets by pulling out of one alphabet to raise the demand for lottery tickets. U Yin, retailer, Wenanso Lottery Ticket Shop said.
When the COVID-19 outbreak occurred first, we got losses in this sector. People have to obey the stay-at-home rules, and they are not much interested in doing the lottery service. As the lockdown are eased and people can go to places easier than before, the demand for lottery sector becomes high. Some buy only a single ticket, or sometimes a set of 3 or 4 5 tickets together as well. People seem to take interest in lottery as the outbreak of COVID-19 affects the livelihood of the people. Some lost their jobs, so if they won the lottery, they wouldn't have much to worry about their lives. Our shop gets 200,000 watt price as the highest.
That's the report on nearly 20 billion kyats in total awarded on 17th State Lottery occasion. Myanmar Construction Entrepreneurs Association announced that they will help with the job seeking of construction workers who have returned from foreign countries because of the impact posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The association is to link the skilled returnees with the construction companies in states and regions of the country. The returnees can submit the proposal to the association no later than the 15th of July.
Myanmar Construction Entrepreneurs Federation MCEF called for the submission of the proposal by the construction industry labor returning from overseas countries amid COVID-19 outbreak. The association is to help the job hunters of construction industry who have arrived back in Myanmar because of unemployment in overseas, linked with the companies in all states and regions which are in need of skilled workers. Umyomye, General Secretary of MCEF, said.
ဒီကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ COVID-19 ကြောင့်ပေါ့နော်ဒီနေဆက်တရနေပြီးဝင်လာတဲ့လူကတော့အများစုပေါ့တချို့လဲလေနဲ့ပြန်လာတာရှိတယ်အဲ့ထက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ကစောက်လို့လုပ်သားစင်းကြည့်လိုက်တော့ 9000 ကျော် 6000 လောက်ရှိ
Among the overseas returnees through land and air, the number of workers from construction sector is about 5,000 to 6,000. They include from manual labor to professionals. According to the state councillor, the government is also trying to receive the skillful workers returning back to country and not willing to go abroad again. For the construction industry, we have membership of many construction companies, as well as our association covers all regions and states of the country. So we're to help the overseas returnees who are facing difficulties in grasping job opportunities linked with the companies which are in need of labor.
According to Myanmar, there are about 1 million labor in local construction industry in the whole country, so that it will not be quite difficult to create job opportunities for about 5,000 to 6,000 workers coming back home. Although construction sector is also affected by the outbreak of COVID-19, the government infrastructure are still being constructed. And the need in local construction labor market is the skilled workers and professionals with the knowledge of advanced technology.
ပြည်တွင်းကတော့စောက်လုပ်ရေးကတော့တိတ်အရန်ကောင်းတာတော့မဟုတ်ဘူးဒါပေမဲ့လည်းအဓိကအရန်မကောင်းဆိုတာ real estate sector နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့
Construction in local market is not in good condition concerning real estate sector. It showed a downturn in private sector. However, for the public sector, the government is continuing the construction of the essential infrastructure by keeping calling for tender. Many companies are working for government infrastructure, but they do not have enough skilled labor. The returnees from foreign countries are mostly the skilled labor who are holding certifications. The engineers or professionals can bring back and share the technology from foreign countries to the local companies. The skilled workers returning from overseas can also train the workers here.
Mostly the engineers and other professions work abroad in Singapore and Malaysia. The manual labor mostly goes to the Republic of Korea as well as Thailand. Uilin from Myanmar Construction Company Limited said.
We are one of the companies offering job opportunities to the overseas returnee construction labor. At present, the association has already received about 20 proposals submitting manually as well as about 100 proposals via email. For our company, we expect to receive about 10 newcomers, but locally there are many large companies working for foreign projects or tender projects. We will ask the large companies for the job opportunities of labor returning from overseas. When they are facing difficulties in employment, they can get a position in local industry with a fair payment in accordance with their experience, as well as the offer providing companies can have more skilled workers. This is the win-win situation.
As government has already allowed the workplaces to resume operation, the construction sites are also running work again.
The construction procedures have stopped during the previous 2 months of the beginning of COVID-19 outbreak. By now, the construction sites resume operation in line with the health guidelines by the Ministry of Health and Sports. For the workers returning from abroad, we will ask for the letter of recommendation for completing the quarantine and being tested negative.
The returnee workers of the construction industry who are willing to get a position in the local market can send proposal to Myanmar Construction Entrepreneurs Federation through phone or email not later than the 15th of July. They can also request the region or state they want to work at, as the association has branches in all across the country. News reported by Dora Susan from Myanmar International Radio.
That's the report on MCEF, to help construction workers returning from overseas with seeking job opportunities. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar issued an announcement stating that it suspended all types of visa for all foreign travelers from various global countries to enter Myanmar as part of measures to control the risk of COVID-19 outbreak. The restriction had to be extended for several times, and now it also has been extended until the end of July. The visa suspension order serves an obstacle to the return of Myanmar seamen to their home after concluding their navigation duties assigned from the respective shipping companies. Yan 9 and Minton has the full report.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs MOFA of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar issued an announcement stating that it suspended all types of visa for all foreign travelers from various countries to enter Myanmar as part of the measures to control the risk of COVID-19 outbreak. The restriction had to be extended for several times, and now it has also been extended to the end of July. The MOFA issued an order on the 28th of June expressing that the visa suspension has been extended and the move aims to be part of the anti-COVID-19 measures. The visa suspension order serves an obstacle to the return of Myanmar seamen to their home after concluding their navigation duties assigned from the respective shipping companies. Now the number of Myanmar seamen awaiting return to home is more than 10,000, according to Captain Soe-min, chairman of Myanmar Seafarers Federation (MSF).
The government extends visa suspension once every 15 days, and now it has been extended to 31st of July. The government's move inflicts downhearted feeling upon most of the Myanmar seamen arriving in the different foreign countries. This matter becomes the main focus of attention on social media, but the seamen are still waiting for the return to home. We are advising the seamen trying to contact us to use possible ways.
There are more than 10,000 Myanmar seamen arriving in different countries, and they are waiting for the return to Myanmar. A proposal how to bring back Myanmar seamen stranded in the different countries following the shipping work assignment has been prepared to be submitted to Yangon region government. The proposal pointed out the number of quarantine centers where returnee seamen are to be put into, as well as the number of batches of the returnee seamen, according to the MSF. A Myanmar seaman who had arrived back in Myanmar before the extension of the restrictions recounted how he returned to the country and how he self-quarantined at Kota in Danenari region. Kotan Zempio Wilson from MTM Maritime Center Company Limited said,
The
contract terms of most of the seamen have already expired. Some seamen contract terms are no longer valid, and they want to go back home, but they can't do because the airports have been closed. Our company made arrangements for the seamen after asking for the permission from the ship owner of the headquarters of Yangon and Singapore. They met in discussion, and Myanmar seamen would be brought to Myanmar's water territory, especially in Kotor. And I am from the fifth batch of the vessel, and 4 vessels already arrived before my batch.
Factories, industries, and businesses have been shut down in most foreign countries due to the possible risk of the infection of COVID-19, and that leads to an increase in unemployment. But the shipping lines are in need of more seamen to be employed on their vessels.
The seamen can earn nearly 500 to 600 million US dollars a year. The matter we would like to put forward to the superior is that the ocean-going vessels need employment when other businesses are in crisis. For example, more than 1,000 Myanmar workers recently going to Turkey are not still allowed to work, and they earn nothing. It is not easy to know when the factories reopen, but the seamen are always moving. For the reason, if Myanmar seamen are sent to foreign countries, it is sure they will get jobs.
Kotan Zempio Wilson from MTM Maritime Center Company Limited said,
The role of Myanmar seamen will gradually go down if the foreigners enter the seamen employment. It is not easy to return to the area of navigation profession. In some airports, investigations are carried out within limits, and if it is okay, it is allowed. If Myanmar airport open, it will be back to. Otherwise, the market of Myanmar seamen will gradually disappear and the income of foreign exchange will be on the decrease.
ဘုဆိုတော့ဒီမြန်မာသမုဒ္ဒရာဈေးဘက်ကတစ်ဖြည်းဖြည်းပတ်သက်သွားမယ်
That's the report on more than 10,000 Myanmar seamen await relaxation of visa restriction to return home. As Myanmar has encountered months of closure due to coronavirus, the football industry is also hit hard by the impact of the pandemic. Football industry, which relies on public gathering, is the most affected by the ban on the public gathering. MI Radio reached out to Myanmar Football Federation and Myanmar National League for details.
As Myanmar has encountered months of closure due to coronavirus, the football industry is also hit hard by the impact of the pandemic. Players face drop in training hours, pay, and the people working in the football industry struggle. Football industry, which relies on public gathering, is the most affected by the ban on the public gathering guidelines enforced by the Ministry of Health and Sports. Uzo Mintai, spokesperson of Myanmar Football Federation, explained how the pandemic outbreak affects the football industry.
ဖြစ်သွားပြီဆိုတဲ့အချိန်မှာကျွန်တော်ကျမရဲ့အာသာဝီကြီးဌာနကနေပြီးတော့
When the COVID-19 outbreak started, the Ministry of Health and Sports announced that the public gathering is banned, and that applies to the sports sector as well. Especially the impact is big on the sports and entertainment industry, which relies on the crowd and public gathering to survive. Not only the economy, but also the activities of the federation are affected. Same thing is happening all over the world, and they are walking in line with the guidelines of FIFA and AFC.
ကိုဗစ်လိုမှာဆောင်ရမယ့်ကိစ္စတွေအများကြီးရှိပါတယ်
There are many things to do post-COVID-19. For example, the Myanmar national football team will participate in the competition in Japan. It is a qualification match for the FIFA World Cup and AFC Cup. Also in Mandalay, Myanmar will be hosting the match between Kyrgyzstan and Myanmar. So we were supposed to go take part in those competitions before COVID-19 and the pandemic puts off the matches. Trainings have to be rescheduled, so we are awaiting the instruction from MOHS. That will allow the training to resume. Only then the trainings and the Myanmar National League matches will resume. The football players, the staff, and people working in football industry were hit hard by the impact of the pandemic. Reduced pay is applied to the people working in the football industry.
It is noted that MFF also provided food and aid to the current and the former football players and their families. Moreover, aid is provided to the futsal team and women football team. Assistance was provided to them for 2 times so far. The families in need are prioritized in the aid program. CEO of Myanmar National League, Uso Mujo, explained.
ပထမဆုံးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံရဲ့ပေါ့နော်စီးပွားရေးအကျပ်တဲပေါ့ဒါတော့
With the advance of this pandemic outbreak, football matches came to a stop since March. So this hinders the sustainable growth of football sector. So the impact goes to the footballers, the instructors, people, and media that are related with this football industry. It is understandable that these are stopped as required. But the prolonged period of no activity within the sector for several months lead to unwanted consequences. For example, the football players need to train regularly, and this stops affect their stamina, endurance, and routine. There's a difference between a couple weeks with no practice and several months without practice. So they will need to catch up a lot. Players, instructors, and staff have to be paid, although there is no cost for other things. As there is no match yet, majority of football clubs struggle to pay them.
Moreover, it is noted that the brand awareness of sponsors and partners also suffer, leading to the lower interest to sponsor the matches.
That's the report on football in Myanmar suffers amid COVID-19. Now let's move on to international news. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said the UK will extend residency rights and a path to citizenship for up to 3 million people in Hong Kong after China ratified the national security law for the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Responding to a question on the UK's opposition to the law, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian urged countries to stop making use of Hong Kong issues to interfere in China's internal affairs. Speaking to British members of Parliament, Johnson said the UK will introduce a new route for those with British national overseas status to enter the UK. About 350,000 British national overseas passport holders and 2.6 million others eligible for the passports would be able to come to the UK for 5 years. After a further year, they would be able to apply for British citizenship under the UK's plan. Johnson said the legislation signed off on Tuesday by China's National People's Congress Standing Committee violates Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy and is in direct conflict with Hong Kong Basic Law, the de facto constitution of Hong Kong that came into effect in 1997 when the region was handed back to China. Zhao reiterated in a statement that China is firmly determined to implement one country, two systems and oppose foreign interference in Hong Kong affairs. Nobody and nothing could shake the Chinese government and people's resolution and will to safeguard national sovereignty and security and uphold Hong Kong's prosperity and stability. More than 40 nations have highly recognized China's efforts in fighting against terrorism and extremism to protect human rights in Xinjiang at the 44th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council on Wednesday. In a statement delivered by the representative of Belarus, Vadim Pisarevich, the 46 countries take terrorism and extremism as threats to all humanity, which undermines human rights of local residents who fall victim to the violence. He also applauded China's transparency on handling Xinjiang's issue. Shen Xu, China's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, said the Xinjiang-related issues are not so-called human rights, ethnic and religious issues, but anti-terrorism and anti-secession issues. China has taken effective measures and people of all ethnic groups in Xinjiang have fully enjoyed all human rights in a peaceful and safe environment, which has been widely recognized by the international community. The United Nations Security Council has unanimously adopted a resolution calling for a halt to conflicts to help the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The resolution, drafted by France and Tunisia, calls for all parties to armed conflicts to engage immediately in a durable humanitarian pause for at least 90 consecutive days in order to enable the safe, unhindered, and sustained delivery of humanitarian assistance. It has taken months for the Security Council to agree to the resolution, which follows UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' call back in March for a global truce. Guterres welcomed the fact that his ceasefire request was supported by nearly 180 countries and more than 20 armed groups. A second meeting on the pandemic is scheduled for Thursday. According to local media reports on Wednesday, at least 24 people have been killed and 7 others injured in a shooting in Irapuato, Guanajuato State in central Mexico. An investigation into the shooting has been launched. And that's all we have for you today. Thank you for joining me on Myanmar Today. Stay safe.